Okay, so this one is about how we evacuate in the event of an extreme weather situation, such as a tsunami and earthquake. So there's two scenarios with evacuation, scenario 1 and scenario 2. Both scenarios more or less require people to exit by foot. Walking out to the main Bamfield main line and walking toward Port Alberni by foot. So before getting into the two scenarios completely, I'll just give you a quick understanding of why that makes sense. When you're standing at the West Coast Trail for the entrance of the Pacific Rim National Park off on the Bamfield main line, you're sitting at about 10 meters, which is about the size of the earthquake that did a bunch of damage to Port Alberni in the 60s, as well as Pachina. So it takes about 5 to 7 minutes to walk to that point, which is pretty solid. That said, further up the road, about 1.2 kilometers from that position, is where our muster point 1 is. That's our main mustering point for evacuation. And at that location, we have a trailer full of blankets, emergency blankets, propane, little fire pits, water, level 3 oxygen, all kinds of different stuff that can help, care for people that may or may not need it. So let's talk about the two scenarios. There's two basic scenarios when it comes to tsunami and earthquake. One is the least probable scenario, but could cause the most damage and could come quicker without warning. And that's if we had a localized earthquake here and we didn't have warnings. It could hit us within 10 to 20 minutes, maybe an hour. It's really undetermined. There's not a perfect science there. So that is scenario 1, where everyone is evacuating on foot instantly. And that is literally triggered by the ground shaking under your feet. If you haven't received a tsunami warning an hour earlier, or 2 or 3 or 4 hours earlier, and the ground is shaking aggressively under your feet, you must exit the site instantly via the main campground road to the Bamfield main line, turn right and keep walking toward Port Alberni. You can also exit via the Cabana stage and the main stage, directly behind the main stage on the grass through the West Coast Trail and out from the entrance of the Pacific Rim National Park. Everyone exits by foot. Both in scenario 1 and 2, you're basically exiting by foot. So let's talk about scenario 2. Scenario 2 is more probable, and it is, in a way, more difficult because we could have up to 4 hours of warning, and we could see a tsunami or not. We could have a warning, and it could be really a bad warning for an hour, and then it could be gone an hour later, and ultimately we don't really... The chance of a false report and us half evacuating is probably higher probability than a major devastatingly bad earthquake. So in the eventuality of a scenario 2, chances are we will have all got a message, or those who have the apps will have a message saying there's a tsunami warning on the coast. And at that point, people will start to go, oh, there's a warning. What should we do? What should we do? At that point, that's when we deploy our people into all the different locations, and we go into Code Black, which is essentially a communication system where one person, Dallas, who is sitting in her truck in between the main line, the Bamfield main line, and box office, and she will be getting instant updates from the collaborators that we work with at Huayet, as well as Bamfield, ACRD, as to what the official updates are, and she will send that information down to myself and other personnel on the ground, and we will be able to communicate that to you. Now, at that point, everyone has their choice and their comfort level to leave if that's how they feel, or to begin to pack up. If you do decide to, you know what, I don't want to wait around to find out if we have to evacuate necessarily, or I'm just going to go now with my family, that's totally cool. If you are in Bamfield, the emergency location is the fire hall. If you're near the in between and something goes on, the House of Huayet, Upper Anakla, is where the Huayet emergency location is. And our location is muster point 1, and it's about 1.8 kilometers toward Port Alberni from the West Coast Trail sign. All right. We have some information below about what we think your jump bag should be. Check that out. It's something to think about if you live on the coast. We also, you can read everything, and you can give the actual plan below, and you can send it to and you can read through it and understand more. And you're welcome to let us know if you have special skills, and we can incorporate you into that plan if you are a disaster relief specialist or something. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. This is a long one, and I do want to point out to everyone that my family's personal plan is that in a scenario 1 or 2, they exit by foot right away, partially because I need my family out of harm's way so I can properly delegate and be calm amongst a evacuation, but as well as my wife knows the plan and has the skills and will be helping people along the way, and will probably be one of the first people up at muster point 1 to take direction from. So again, it's a bit of a long one, something to think about, but I want you guys to know that we have a plan, and our plan is good. And I believe in us, and I believe in our collective ability to do what needs to do to keep each other safe when shit hits the fan. So yeah, feel free to check it out. Let us know if there's anything that you think you could add, or if you have any questions. We do have obviously a bunch of internal processes I haven't mentioned. But yeah, so there it is.